Welcome to my channel, guys. Today I'm going to talk about my story as Lillian Mibei. This lady here was born many years back. Unfortunately, at 5 months old, I was struck by polio. My mother says, may her soul rest in peace. When I was 5 months old, many times I had fevers and they would take me to the hospital. And once I was in the hospital, I was given medication, then we went back home. During my long call, my stool, they could see the presence of blood. Instead of the normal stool, they see blood. Then my mom would take me back to hospital. You can imagine the stress she had. You can imagine the pain. You can imagine how a parent feels when the baby is sick, how devastated a parent can be. She continued to tell me that it reached a point like I was not able to breastfeed, like for 3 days. You can imagine when your baby is not breastfeeding, the stress that a parent goes through. It's not that easy for any parent. Even right now, when your kid is not even eating, actually it will stress you. Now you can imagine this is a small baby. This baby is not breastfeeding for like 3 days. The stool is bloody. What else can you think in your mind? You can easily go mad. That's what my mother felt all through. Then when that thing of stool together with blood, that's when the hospital decided to go further with the tests. And that's why they took my stool, they took my stool for further research, that is. And later, the message was that I had polio. As we all know, polio is a viral disease, and once it has entered the body, its main function is to deform the person. So this polio was extensive, that it really deformed me. It went to the extent of affecting my back with my lower limbs. And back then, when they discovered I had polio, I was slowly deteriorating, that is. With polio, it's either you survive or you die. It's like when the Bible says the devil comes in to kill, destroy, and just leaves you like that, fully damaged. That's what I can relate to what polio did to me. So you can imagine at 5 months, my legs, or rather the lower limbs, the paralysis was very much visible. And with the time they took me to the hospital, that's now the time I was in and hospital most of the time. Okay, now once the polio had really damaged the whole of me, I remained like that. So I started growing slowly by slowly without any improvement. At one point, my mom says I was not able to sit down. So what she had to do, she took a box, she put some blankets inside, and she put me inside while she continues with her house chores. Then for quite some time, then one day she decided let me just put her without any support. And that's the time I sat down by myself. Now that is the effort of a mother. And sometimes I call those mothers special mothers. Whatever they go through, bringing up a child with a special need is not that easy. They really go through a lot. If you see any parent out there who has a child with special needs, just pray for them. And thank God, because God actually gives them the strength to carry on. They actually overcome all that by all means through God's grace. So when my mother realized I was able to sit down by myself, at least that was a milestone. She was really happy. So from there I started like crawling. I would move myself pole. Then at one point I was able to crawl. I was crawling with my knees. I was crawling on my knees. That is, I would move from one place to another. So I kept on moving like that until that time I was able to join class 1. Is when I was taken to school. I thank God I was able to start school earlier like any other child. My mother took me to a special school where I was taken care of. And I remember then in school, matron would take care of me. She would wash me, dress me up, and she would carry me on her back. Wherever you are, my matron, God bless you. She would take me to class, and during lunchtime she would come for me. Then ananiosha, then I take lunch. I'm taken to our dormitory and I was given dolls to play with. That was interesting part of it. Then later, I thank God for Catholic nuns. They realized in that community there was a parent who had a child with special needs. That's the time they came to my mother. They talked to my mother. They actually told her, we can take your kid for rehabilitation, for early intervention. That is the right word, for early intervention. And my mom agreed. That's why I was taken by them. I went for surgery. That's when I was in class 1. I was taken for surgery, I think in Ravine. I was operated on because one of my legs, this one, the left leg, I couldn't stretch it like this. Ilikuwa imekunjana. So I was done operation, or rather surgery. I had plaster. I had my legs plastered from toes to my thighs. We continued with the process until the surgery was successful. Then after that, I was taken for occupational therapy. My friends, the therapy was painful. You can imagine this leg, it wasn't straight. Now it is being forced to stretch in and out. I would scream in that clinic. It was really painful. My mom would carry me on her back with my legs straight like this, like she would support it like this, because the moment anakunja, that was a great scream, I tell you. And it was very painful. We continued with the therapy until I was okay. After the surgery, rehabilitation came in. So we were advised to go to do rehabilitation at home. So I was made some parallel bars from one point to another. They were two like this. So during rehabilitation, that's when they brought in the calipers. These calipers, they would support my legs. They are boots together with some metal rods put in them, so that they would support my legs from the boots to my thighs. So I kept on putting on my calipers, and every morning my mother was like, Inja. I went outside. I did my exercises from one point to another, one point to another, one point to another. When I was tired, I had a sack there in the middle. I would sit down there and relax. Then again, the process like that, until that time new crutches were brought in, and I was given the crutches to try on. You can imagine how young I was, that little girl. Then I would put on crutches. These crutches, when I was putting on, actually I was going this way. I would fall like this. I was not stable. But I had to practice until I got used to them. Then from there I started walking step by step from one point to another. With the time, I was that one girl who would walk faster. In rehabilitation, they call a swing method. That is, I would move with my crutches like this very fast from one point to another, And that's how I came to walk on crutches. I thank God for my mother who never gave up on me. Sometimes I wish she would still be alive to see the girl she really worked hard on. But wherever she is, I know she's watching over me. And I'm glad she never gave up on me. She took me to school despite the difficulties in finances. Special school is quite expensive. But she never gave up. She had some sheep at home, and this sheep really actually helped her, because many times she sold them, and I would get school fees from them. So I would still urge parents, wherever they are, please, it might be hard. At times you might feel you want to give up, but please never give up on your child. Never give up on your child, because sometimes I say, if my mom gave up on me, I wouldn't be here right now. I am that one girl who is doing a lot in my life, of which I'll talk about it next time. But I'm glad I am where I am because of God and because of my parents. Later, when my mom passed on in 1999, my sweet dad never gave up on me. He kept on encouraging me, and later he took me to college. During that time, when getting a job was really a hassle, he went ahead and started a business for me in Nakuru. I continued with my business. Unfortunately, in 2007, he passed on too. But so far I can say I am grateful to my parents. Actually, having a child with disability is not that easy. I am a living example, and I'm grateful to them. Because of their love, I am alive. alive today. And because of their love, my siblings are proud of me. And I love my siblings so much because till today, they still appreciate me and they love me so much. And I'm grateful for them. So, to any parent who is going through a lot because of that child, I want to reassure you that with God, you will make it. With God, you will overcome the challenges. Let us not hide any child with a disability. However much that disability looks like, the severity of that disability, kindly never hide your kids. Just let them out, let them sunbask, let them mingle with other children. You never know where your blessing will come from. Actually, that kid is a blessing in disguise. Thank you so much, guys, and for that, kindly subscribe to my channel, like it, comment, and share it. Till next time, bye bye.